Hello, good morning and good evening to all those who see and hear. I'm your host, Mohammed Tufail, and today again I'm live with another special guest, honorable guest, Andrea Mason from USA. Today we will talk about forgiveness, and I would like to tell you about herself. She has over 2 decades of experience in personal development, a bachelor in social worker, and a major in psychology, certified as an international motivational speaker and certified small business entrepreneur, certified professional organizer, and a personal accountability coach. So I would like to tell you that this live interview series is supported by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace and is a part of Connecting the World. I would like to request you, ma'am, to introduce yourself so that my viewers can also know about you. And I am very thankful and I'm very excited to having with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Tufa. Assalamu alaikum. I'm still getting it right. How are you doing? Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Andrea Mason. I am a global motivational speaker, certified professional organizer, and I'm here to educate and support you in the healing power of forgiveness. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for your time. I am very thankful to you because you have a busy time, so that is why. Okay, first of all, our topic is about forgiveness. So I would request you to start the topic, and then we will discuss about your life journey.
Absolutely. So a lot of us today have a lot of baggage that we're carrying in on life, and most of it comes from our childhood, young adulthood, or a time where we have gotten betrayed, abused, hurt, or lost. And the healing power of forgiveness allows you to achieve personal freedom, where this allows you to not only forgive the incidences, the individuals, and the occurrences, but most importantly, allow you to achieve personal freedom by forgiving yourself, to allowing others to have permission to make you feel a negative way.
Well, okay. I would like to ask you that why is forgiveness important?
Absolutely. So, as you know, we are our own worst critics. We are our own worst judgment of character. We are ready to help another than ourselves. The reason why forgiveness is important, because the forgiveness, if you do not forgive someone, you are intentionally putting a roadblock to prevent you from achieving your dreams, success, and productivity. Because what you do is forgiveness. If you haven't forgiven someone and you go into a job or an arena and somebody reminds you of that person who has hurt you, you may not get past that barrier. So it is important to get to the root cause and understand why you are upset and why you should forgive. And once you forgive, you will be able to move forward.
Well, amazing. So, why people not forgive? What is the reason behind it?
A lot of people don't forgive because they feel that it is a matter of pride. They don't want to give that, ability or put down their guard for somebody else, saying that, because of you, I'm going to forgive you, which lightens your, I guess, weight in the game for hurting me. So I'm giving you a kind of to-go pass, when in reality, we are the only creatures that continuously and habitually find people that will hurt us again and again and again, and we don't learn from our mistakes after the first couple of times. So we are stuck in our past. And until we face our past will continue to chase us.
Well, amazing. So I would like to ask you to tell about our viewers if what are the consequences of forgiveness?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I apologize.
Yeah. Okay. My question is about it. What are the consequences of forgiveness?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many that we probably don't even think of. Mental health, our medical health, and our ability to trust others. For a quick example, if I may, I had for some time experienced a lot of heartache, a lot of loss, especially the passing of my mother. And I have not really allowed myself to grieve or forgive, our creator for taking her. And I was very angry and I was very upset. So I suppressed my anger, my loss, my sadness, and I pushed it and weighed it down, and I never forgave. Now, mind you, you fast forward about 6 or 8 years, and I was ending up in the hospital, and I was unable to care for myself. I was on the ICU unit. And so if we don't face what the root cause of it is, it can turn into anxiety, stress, fear, which in turn weakens our immune system. This allows us not to take care of ourselves and just kind of either muddle into depression or increase our anxiety. And also what's most important is, like I said before, if we don't face it, it's going to come to us at a later time in our life when we least expect it, and when it could alter the opportunity of progression in our life.
Well, amazing. Okay. Do you do yourself a favor when you forgive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you forgive yourself, now remember, one of the key components in forgiveness is that when we carry on this trauma, this, negative treatment that we have received, and we don't let it go. Now, I'm not saying to forget, because if we forget, then 9 times out of 10 we'll repeat and allow the same behavior to occur. But if we address it and we forgive ourselves, we are allowing ourselves to make the proper choice not to let that happen again. And we are also unleashing the baggage that it has happened. It is a lesson that we must learn. And from this lesson, we are able to move forward.
Well, okay. So my next question is that when people get angry and they don't want to forgive anyone, what is the reason behind this?
A lot of times when people don't want to forgive and they get angry, they're holding grudges. And the reason is because they might have stepped back from the situation and realized that they may have, caused it themselves for a lack of awareness of their behavior or their statements. And they may realize, you know what, I brought this upon myself. And I don't want to forgive myself. I don't want to forgive the other person. I just want to let go and move on. But the anger, like I said, bottles up and it gets to the surface, and then it'll break the seal. And unfortunately, it will be when least expected.
Okay. My next question is that you have told about a person he gets angry or something else. So why should we forgive the person who has hurt us or hurt me?
Excellent question. So, being the background that I have over 2 decades in social work and psychology, a lot of behaviors are resulted from programming from external influences, whether it be media, TV, influences from the government or family. And if somebody's hurting you, maybe they're not aware that they're hurting you, and that's all they received throughout their life. That's how the right way to treat somebody is. Or they don't have the awareness that they're even doing it. But if they do have a negative intention to hurt you, then it is your responsibility and your courageousness that can make them be mindful of it so it doesn't happen to another person.
Amazing answer, amazing. Okay, so what if the person does not ask for forgiveness and I'm still obligated to forgive?
You don't, if the person doesn't ask for forgiveness, I know this is going to sound weird, but when you apologize and say to them, you know what, I know what you did was wrong, but I'm willing to forgive you, the response is amazing because I've done this. I've gotten abused and made fun of and bullied when I was in school, shoved into lockers and thrown into trash. I just was never fitting in. And it wasn't until a few years after that I approached the people who were, treating me that poorly. And I said to them, you know what? I forgive you. And they kind of were taken aback because they didn't realize, they just thought they had power over me. And when I forgave them and I forgave myself, it kind of changed their focus, changed their perspective. Like, oh my goodness, I don't think what I'm doing is right. So that's not always the case, but usually more time than others, when you forgive someone, it kind of stops them in their tracks and realize and kind of snaps them out of it. Maybe this isn't the right way to do or treat another person.
Well, okay. How much, how dangerous is unforgiveness?
I'm sorry?
How dangerous is unforgiveness?
Unforgiveness is, it's gonna follow you. It's gonna follow you your course of life. You know what I mean? It's very powerful when you forgive. If you unforgive, it's going to haunt you. One of the lessons that I've worked with individuals, many times we always say could have, should have, would have, and we live in our past. And when we do not forgive people, that's when we have a limitation. That's when we have a boundary and interference. Unforgiven is kind of like you're not following what morals, ethics, and values. Everybody should forgive. Everybody should understand that, they are given the proper opportunity to forgive another person. Our creator is always forgives us no matter what. That's the unconditional love. And if we start forgiving and hoping that the people who are hurting us kind of have a change in mindset, then we're doing the right thing. But unforgiven, that grudge is going to haunt you. That karma is going to be with you. That toxicity is going to stay within you. Definitely.
Well, okay. So, what is the perfect and beautiful way of forgiveness, or to forgive anyone in a perfect way, in a beautiful way?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, perfection is, there's no such thing as perfection. There is progression. But one of the key elements that I find so powerful, so healing, so beautiful is free writing. Take a pen and paper and just write how you feel about the individual, the incident, or the occurrence, and how it made you feel. Get all your thoughts, anger, sadness, depression, anxiety, get that down all on paper. And it's a release of toxins that you're, exiting through your body, mind, and soul. And as you're doing this, make sure that you're feeling the emotions, reliving the incident. And then at the end, say, you know what? I forgive you and I forgive myself. I will not allow this to happen to me again. I will not give permission for someone to hurt me. And as you do this healing process, it's very therapeutic because it goes all throughout your inner core and your soul. And that's where your heart is. So, most importantly, follow your heart and not the hurt. A lot of people want to either forgive and forget or just forget completely. I'm suggesting to forgive and to heal.
Well, okay. What should we do when people, or when we get angry on small things? What should we do to become a tolerant or to forgive anyone?
When we get angry with our individuals who hurt us, let them know. Be courageous enough to stand up for yourself in a civil manner, in a respectful manner, and say, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this treatment. I don't deserve this, you know, the way you're talking to me. I deserve respect, and I'm going to give you respect. The more calm, remember, we are beings of energy, just like you and I. We have positive energy on this podcast and this show. And I'm going to receive and provide you with positivity. Same thing goes when somebody mistreats you. You tell them, hey, stop for a minute. I don't deserve this. And I'm sure you wouldn't deserve to be treated this way. And the more courageous enough, the more we face it, the less it's going to occur. And a lot of people, word gets around that if you stand your ground, a lot of people aren't going to take advantage of you or treat you that way.
Well, amazing. So I would like to ask you that to become a tolerant person or to forgive anyone is same as like each other or not?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure, sure. My question is about to become a tolerant person or to forgive anyone is same or not?
To become an adulted, like a mature person, and to forgive them, is that correct?
To become,
It could,
to be,
is that correct?
no,
Go ahead.
to become, I should repeat. Okay.
Okay.
To become a tolerant person or to forgive anyone. Do you think it is same?
That's a good question. I never really thought about that. To forgive someone takes great power. To be adored, is that what you're saying? Adored? That would be, it's one thing to be adored, but it's another thing to forgive, because when you're adored, you put somebody on a higher standard and you put your expectations of that person extremely high. And you and I and everyone else, we're all human. We make mistakes. We have shortcomings, but that's what makes us human. And to forgive someone, you don't have to be an amazing, high regard individual. It can start at any age, any level. For example, we're teaching our son, people are not always going to treat you right. The world at times is very cruel to us. But as long as we keep our ground, keep our mindset and respect, and we understand what we're doing and treat people the way we want to be treated, that's what's going to have a rippling effect in our progression and how people perceive us. Because most importantly, integrity and passion, living with those two, ethics in mind, you are going to get hurt, but after a while, people will understand and provide you with the respect that you deserve.
Amazing. So, okay, I would like to ask you some questions about personal development as you are, as you have experience
Yeah.
in personal development. And how can we become tolerant? Sorry, how can we grow our personality and to become to show our personality well, amazing? How can we make yourself well?
Most importantly is, society has told us that we should, for caring for ourselves is selfish. I am here to recommend self-care. What do I mean by that? By taking care of yourself in a high regard, making sure that you are acting with integrity at all time. The 3 key points that I truly say as far as, personal development, growth, and, maturing on a successful level. Number 1 is to act with integrity, to make sure you do what you say. You're showing up. If you're saying you're going to be there, you're going to be there. And if you are unable to, make sure you make it known that you are unable to be there immediately. Respect not only your time, but the other individual's time or company's time. Secondly, living life with passion, that you're always paying it forward and looking out for the other individual. When you are at your best self and your best health, that's when you are a best asset to others. And that's when you can share and pay it forward and share your wisdom and knowledge with others. And finally, number 3 is being grounded. Have a reality base of what you are about and what you are trying or what your mission is about. Remember, your name is attached to it. So everything you do, whether it be on social media, in person, in your family, in your relationships, that there's a common thread of who you truly are. And most importantly, under the umbrella of everything, how you treat and how you perceive yourself is how others are going to see you. And try to refrain from negative self-talk and negativity, because once you have toxicity and negativity enter your headspace, it could be it rather than a gift, it can be a weapon.
Amazing, amazing. I would like to know about your life journey. So, can you please tell us from where you start your life journey, your first career, and what difficulties you have faced that time?
Absolutely. So, for those of you who have been watching, as you know, I began my life in an underdeveloped country in Colombia, South America. It was during the war torn drug zone era at its prime. My parents were unable to care for me, and they put me up for adoption and sent me to America. I was welcomed in with open arms and unconditional love of my parents. And they have instilled in me, Andrea, no matter what you do what you love, do it right, and do your best. And that had kind of fast forwarded me into pursuing the career industries of social work and psychology, because I wanted to give back to my community. I wanted to give back to my homeland. I wanted to help individuals experience and share my stories with them on resiliency, adversity, and integrity. And so when I chose the path of social work and psychology, I was able to help individuals on all levels, whether it be institutions, in jails, homeless, and I was able to learn about individuals, and I love to learn about them. And as I pursued my career, I had went into the holistic, motivational, and medical fields, and all of my knowledge has molded me into becoming the innovator and creator of Press Play, which is Plan Your Life According to You, where I help individuals achieve personal freedom through the healing power of forgiveness.
Well, amazing. So, how you became an international motivational speaker? Share your journey, the international motivational speaker.
Yes. So about 5 or 7 years ago, I was stuck in the hamster wheel of life. I was overworked, underpaid, and I was doing more than my employees were. And I was just like, there's got to be a better life for me. And my husband and I decided we were going to go off grid and really invest in our minds, our body, and soul. So we would watch motivational videos, which led me to my mentor, Mr. Les Brown, where I was able to work with him. And I just began a journey of speaking on different radios, TV, and platforms, making my message heard, to follow your heart and not the herd. And I realized through all the different countries that I've had spoken on, different landforms, that there were a lot of people suffering, a lot of people who needed to hear positivity and they weren't receiving it. There are war zones going on. There was, power over others, and they needed a message. They needed an outlet to instill hope, to make them realize that there is a way, there's a better way, and there's another place. And so as I developed that, I was able to tap into my childhood, my life experiences of being bullied, being abused, not fitting in, coming from an underdeveloped country, being misperceived. So I took it upon myself to have my mission to speak on every single platform possible globally and share my message and help individuals meet their fullest potential and start taking the pen in their own hand, taking control of their life and writing their own story.
Well, amazing. Okay, so as you are a social worker and you have completed a bachelor in social worker, so what are the benefits of social working?
The benefits of social work, why I chose that route as opposed to psychology, because at the time I was studying psychology, you had a limited path. You would work in school systems or you would work in hospitals or doctor's office. And when I learned about cultural diversity and social work, it just opened so many opportunities for me where I can work in homeless shelters, which I have done, on the streets, in the schools, in the jails, in the institutions and communities, as well as people's homes. So the benefits of social work that has given to me was a wider perspective and a wider avenue to work with all different type of individuals on all different levels, whether it be the severely um, mental health conditions of schizophrenia or bipolar, or even the cases of substance abuse or physical abuse. So it gave me a variety of paths where I can tap into, and I've exhausted and explored all of them. So that's why I love learning about people.
Well, amazing. So I would request you to give a little advice to a youngster, to a youth. What would you like to give her?
Absolutely. The youth is my favorite. I'm talking to everyone there, the future generations. I want you to make sure that whatever you do in life, you follow your dream. Don't live your parents' dream, your coach's dream, or your mentor's dream. Sit down with your guardians and say, this is what I'd like to do. Make sure that you explore and research and see what a day in the life of your dream looks like. Do an apprenticeship or a mentoring. And make sure you're investing in your dream, because you may get financial support and investment from your family. But in the end, you will carry on the investments that you pursue in your life. So my biggest message to you, please hear this from my heart. I apologize about my camera. Um, Follow your heart and not the herd. If there's something out there that you enjoy doing, math, cooking, baking, or even mechanics, or even motivational speaking, do it every single day. Do it with passion. Because if you do your passion, whether you're paid or not, you're giving your best self and you're helping another. So follow your heart, my friends, and make sure you share your dream and believe that at times people may not see your dream, but that's okay, because it's yours to live out.
Thank you so much for your time, for your precious time at the end. I would like to thank you again for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. At the end, I would like to tell our viewers, and inshallah, we'll meet you in another live session with another guest. Until then, God will.